So when you get the coding part, Dev, you all be interested. This is more geared towards QA, kind of, right? Everyone should be good QA. All right. So anyway, I just put this up. This basically, I mean, I've been doing automation for a while now, and you pretty much have to do DevOps and automate. I mean, you have to be good at DevOps as well if you want to be good at automation, right? So, Dev, you can see the orange boxes. You know, how many people here have seen this entire system working 100%, 24/7? Okay. No. Yeah. So anyway, so basically, I mean, you look at the Jenkins job, right? Dev checks in the code. Basically, a Postgres hook. As soon as that code is checked in, then Puppet pretty much grabs all the configs. You know, the environment is spun up. You use vSphere or whatever. All the configs is sent out. All the code is sent out. And in the first part, Dev is all the unit tests run, right? And after the unit tests run, right, that's when all the QA stuff gets pulled out in the test. I mean, you can if you need an environment set up for QA, that gets set up, and then all the code is pulled down, and basically Jenkins will run a smoke test. Smoke test is a subset of tests just to make sure everything is good, and it's basically an end-to-end test. And then what will happen is the email goes off to manual QAs, and they're ready to go with whatever they need to be testing. Then all the other punch tests run. Smoke tests, in my book, shouldn't take more than a couple minutes, right? And then functional tests can take anywhere from an hour and beyond, depending on what you have, right? Then, of course, everything gets recorded in a database. You can feed your logs to Elasticsearch and get all sorts of good stuff. And then real-time reports are generated on the fly. I'm working right now at a place called CGI. We're trying to get there. There's bits and pieces, and so we'll see. So how many people in this room are working in a project that this is working 100%? No, the reason I always ask is I'm just curious at the state of DevOps and automation everywhere.
The functional test also automated an hour or so.
So, yeah, when I started doing the functional tests,
that's what it means.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, maybe 5% you don't automate because it's just not worth it. It takes too long, right? And so, but yeah, I mean, I come from a startup world, and pretty much 95% is totally automated, right? All right. So this is going to the basics. Funny, your favorite I come from work, so I'm fine, right? And so I was wanted to say that. And the reason is just a whole lot easier because I'm used to the security world and packet traces, so I'm constantly living in the hex and TCP dump world, right? Of course, Git, everyone, you know, that has, I mean, in this day and age, it's a given, but I'm sure. How many people here use Git or other those? Anything else out there? Cool. What's TF? Okay. Switched over to Git. Cool. Yeah, Git is nice. It's really cool. All right. I mean, you get to pick whichever one, 3.7. In most part, when I go now, one is that, right? Like, for example, in the startup world, you have to put up stuff quick. Okay, like all the libraries that are out there work with a 2.7 100%, right? Trio has been out, 3.x has been out for a couple of years, but this is just last year. Worked one person on the other end. He wanted to use 3. He started on it, right? And he ran into all these SSL errors. And so, anyways, he reverted back to 2.7. It just works, right? So it comes down to how much time do you want to debugging and how much time do you want to write a framework and set it up, right? The big thing, get a great package manager. Pip is great for Python, right? If you get into the Mac world, Homebrew is awesome. So, people here, a combination of Windows and Mac, Linux. Oh, boy, it's a quiet crowd. Mostly Windows. And then it's always good to have the Pine be basically you can switch between environments real easily. Just makes your life a lot easier. It's good. What you need to install. And if you're playing with Python side packages, you have to get really familiar with that because you have to debug you are going to be living in there. All right. Now we get down to the point. Everything in mixed world issues. The first thing I did, I installed Sigwin. It's a Linux port because I'm just so used to everything being native, right? Sed, awk, it just makes life a whole lot easier. Nothing against Windows people. But okay, so the one thing is all these drivers. So Selenium supports all the major, it's Chrome, Firefox, IE, in this case, Edge. And what I would do is these drivers, they are published every so often. And it's always a good idea to keep up with the latest because the one thing I've seen in my experience, if you don't keep up with the latest, sometimes you run into errors, you're chasing, when it's really you don't have the latest driver, right? And Selenium server is there if you're going to be working with remote, running your tests remotely. And so it just depends on how y'all are running your tests. And it'll be, Selenium server works well. So there's a thing called Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid is what distributes your tests, right? So if you want to run your tests like on X number of machines, that's what you want to use. Okay. And driver basically pretty much now it's going to be compiled to W3C. I mean, it's supported in every browser, right? So I think Selenium is going to be in for a while. I don't see Selenium going away. The one thing, if clients are willing to cough up Sauce Labs, it's not that expensive. I guess it depends on people's budget, but they have every configuration known to mankind, right? And so it's real easy to run your tests in there. And so they have what each browser has what they call capabilities, and you can pretty much describe in there what you want. You know, you want Firefox, this version, you want whatever mobile platform, whatever version. To work with it, I mean, I picked Python. I've been working with it, but I work with Java, C Sharp. You just need to get the right bindings, right? And you go down to the Selenium HQ download, and you're going to get all the bindings, the different bindings. And it's funny, I took that up because where I live. I was going to show you about this. I always import cprint because it basically gives you a nice output. And as you see from the command line, you can just introspect all the objects, and you really don't need to go to Google and all that, right? It's like pretty much like the man pages on Linux. In the Windows world, what's in place of man pages? Help? Okay. So it's as simple as that. You know, once you import Selenium, you import the package, and you can literally instantiate whichever browser you want. And I'll be showing you this. You just go. In this case, I just looked at the title, and you can pretty much do a assertion, right? And so you can just keep building out your tests as you go along. Debugging. These is really good to know. Pilot, it's just another option. Devland, they're familiar with it, but in QA, I push. Sometimes people hate it, but you blend everything before it's checked in. And normally, if I'm on a project, I make sure it happens before they even check it in. So sometimes a lot of people in QA don't care for me that way. All right, the big thing in these things you should know: locating element with, and I've got it in order. Start these ID name, CSS. That works more well for most part. XPath. XPath is good. The only thing you have to remember with that is if you're going to be using it in Firefox, it makes it really slow. No idea, right? Firefox, I mean, they've been saying for years it's been fixed, but it really isn't. Weights. Weights is another good thing. Implicit. Try to stay away from implicit weights, right? So the reason for that is because you set it once, the line, of your application, and that's it. So if you set it for 10 seconds, so everything's going to be waiting around 10 seconds, before something happens. The explicit weights are the best because it's basically waiting on some action, whether it's an object to appear, render, whatever, right? And so get very familiar with that if you're going to start playing with Selenium. And the expected conditions, of course, is an extension of that. It's just a package. Exceptions is key, right? Have a great, your exception handling, you want to bubble up everything, cache it in one place. You're writing your frameworks. And then, of course, design capability is what I mentioned earlier. This is another thing you want to have all set up. So you have to know what all you're going to be testing. You set that once, and you just pick whichever capability you want, run it, and your tests will run with that. Proxy is another thing, especially if you're working with Firefox. Really good. Yeah. I use Sketchboard. Sketchboard is really good. I don't know how many people have used it in here. It's a great collaboration tool. You can throw up something really quick, you're going to be doing, share it with the team, because to me, it's like pictures 1,000 words, right? You throw it up real quick and it's there. And this link, I threw it in here, but this is for headless, right? So all your automation tests you want to run in headless mode, regardless, because DevOps is going to, the people who are good in DevOps are literally going to run everything on a server with no terminal connections, right? So if you're writing your tests, you definitely want to know what DevOps is doing, right? So they've got XVFMB is basically it's a frameless buffer, right? It exports your X11 display. And so you can literally use that, run Firefox, Chrome, whatever, and just have it in such a way it just creates snapshots. See, to me, whenever you have errors and you're handling it in there, that's where I take a snapshot, right? That's one way you're going to figure out when things break. So you get, it's always a good idea to take snapshots. Whenever you're searching on something, just take a snapshot, especially version. All right, so that's, I apologize. I started throwing a lot of this together 2 days ago. I should have started a little earlier. Anyways, page object. So that's, to me, the key when it's the Selenium world, right? So if you just look at every page, right? It's an object. So you are basically going to write all your getters that interact with you on that page, right? So the first thing you do is break down everything, right? You have your login page, and then you just go down through your application and break down each page, right? In this case, I always have a logging routine. In all applications, you definitely need that. I've seen a lot of people write stuff with hardly any logging, and debugging that makes it a nightmare, right? So to me, I log everything. Then in this case, I have a browser object, right? So the browser object is basically going to have everything you can do with the browser, and it should be written in such a way you should be able to run this, whether it's on your desktop, on mobile, it doesn't matter, because then all you're doing is in your capabilities telling it what driver you're going to be using, right? Because I've been in places where they have stuff written just to run on Chrome or just to run on Firefox. You definitely don't want to do that. The big thing is you spend the upfront time recording all your locators, right? So I've not found an easy way. Maybe all the developers in here can tell me, how do you get all the locators on a page without going through and just spidering through the whole thing? Any ideas? I'm asking, because if y'all give me an idea, I'm going to go figure it out. All right. Pardon me? Okay. Okay. All right. I thought maybe a magic way of doing certain things. Yeah, right now that's what I do. Manually go and map out everything. All right. So normally there's an email module because every application is going to have email, and I always use Gmail because they've got all the APIs all set, ready to go. And then one module, for all your common functions. All right. They are both yet? No. Sure. There's no browser logging. So every command goes, right? That may not be anything, right? The only thing it's frame offer. So for that, you can linear run like 5 and all that because it's it's going to run the whole of the process. Head save with that you run it literally says 50-60%. Right. To go headless, all your tests go headless, right? Especially once you've got it stable, right? Because when you're first initially debugging, I mean, you want to go with that towards the end. Sure.
You talked about weights that are, there's 2 times. One, I can just say wait 10 seconds or wait for this thing to appear. What happens if wait for this thing to appear and it never appears? How long have you?
So even in that, okay, so even in that, you normally, it depends, you work with applications, you get a feel. So you can say, just wait 30 seconds, right? Now, this is the difference between the implicit and the explicit, right? Implicit is going to wait 30 seconds regardless, even if it's an object, right? Explicit, on say, you're waiting for an object to be visible. For example, if it's visible in 2 seconds, it's not going to wait for 30 seconds. The 30 seconds is the outlier. You see what I'm saying? So you're saving a lot of time. You see what I'm saying? It's 28 seconds. So you just want to use stick weights, right? I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, maybe there are some places, depending on what, but I can't even tell you a reason why you might want to use implicit weights.
Implicits are always underlying.
Pardon me?
Implicits are always underlying. They're kind of like the default.
It's the default. It's through the entire session for your application, right? So you can say, just for this page, have this, you know what I'm saying, depending on how busy it is and all that. So yeah, just stay away from implicit weights. It will save you a lot of headaches. All right, and now, I'm sorry, I should put all this into or something. Anyway, it's really slow. Believe it or not, I put all code down last night, right? So to solve that doesn't take that long. I think creating to do that's you have to have for, right? There's a lot of people in say they get caught up on code, but it's hard for writing code is the easy part. Right? Doing the hard stuff is what takes forever. Right? Anyways, so as you can see, like this is the root folder, right? I've got the browser drivers, right? At the base is my elements. That's going to be all the getters and setters, right? Then the pages, right? The page is basically your page object, right? And that's what's going to be interacting with your elements, right? All the getters and setters, right? And then what I always do is I stretch it out even one more level over the pages. So at that level, it's just login, right? Or just click on something. And the reason I do that level of abstraction is because in the QA world, at some point or the other, someone's going to come and say, I want manual QA to start writing tests, right? So you don't want them to be trying to get them to work with headers and setters and all that. And so you take the upfront time and abstract it out totally. Right? And then, as you can see, and then you have your test folder and you write all your tests, right? So the one thing is called nose test. Nose test drives all your tests. That's a real good package to use because what it will do is it can run all your tests. It can run a subset of tests. And the best part of it I like is you'll always have tests fail. When tests fail, you fix it. You can just run your failed tests, right? It indexes everything. You know, when you only have 10 tests is one thing, but when you have 10,000 tests, you do not want to be trying to figure out, you know, which ones do I need to run and all that good stuff. So let's see. Let's go. Yeah, sure. Basically located, right? Each day you have your own locator, right? And as this is a group, they think that to all these and describe however you want you to those locators, right? And because once you get your location, this is a right? So I'd say right? And it's just going to pull in the project. And then what that you can pull in emails and logging, Appium. You know, I've worked with Appium, and so you can pull that in. And let's see. So it's like every entrance, and you know, your object when you're done, and just the home tab, and then what we do and what we text. So this is what I was talking about. This is totally abstracted. It's if you do all for a website, and then someone had to come in and just say, in QA lines, you just have a whole series of lines. You just have to know all these calls. You just make those calls and things just happen. What your test would look like. These first lines, you are interested in using packets. And so I'm not sure I'm not familiar with this. You have to use some of a file called underscore, and that's how it basically knows. There's a reason for it that way. It's got in the 3.0 Python that's gone, but in 2.7, so if you defined a class called string, right? Python knows when it sees underscore in it, it totally avoids that, right? So it doesn't even check all that. And so as you can see here, I come in, every class, you know, every class is going to be the same. you call it demo application, you get an instance for your logging routine, whatever your tests are going to be, and just define all your tests. So you say this is going to come, this is going to go to this home tab. All that's going to click on the home tab. So this is what I was talking about when abstracting to complete. What? This is where all this is, right? Base space. So here's your base page object, and so if you get an error hierarchy, right? Everything top build out your elements is pulled into your page object, right? And then the page object is into your demo object. Basically, right, everything is, your function. This is what I was talking about, when you click or when you like return. So the QL something to explain that. So I just abstract it out and just put a function call over it. I know in dev land you'll probably say this is just too much work, right? But it has to be done. Okay. So what else want to know? I do a browser I want to run, right? And I'm doing all the command line, but also board case is a full-blown project, right? And then you just tell it the URL, and then whatever parameters you need to, and you just, as you can see, I don't care how small it is. Little Firefox and I think because it so in this case, it just brings the home tab. It's going to get text, and then once it's done with that, just search text if it's what it is, and then stuff being pulled in, Joel. What's up? Yeah, it's not closing. No, it's transferring to YouTube. Wow. When I always like my experience has been 80%. It's the test broken. No, it's just the way it works. I mean, there's lots of people think, right? You find all the literally when code was dropped, right? Unless there's a bad dev test, you're not going to find the bin, right? So automation both ways. It's like At first, it's work, but then after you find it. Yeah, you're headless. You see the you won't see anything pop up. No, you simulate actual. So basically, make sure everything's actionable, right? Every button, every leg, I mean, because that, whether it's enabled or not, I think that's all the business rules, right? Depending, this is enabled only if, whatever, right? So you have to know what business rules. Nice characters, it's like, always a big thing, right? So, yeah, it's boundary testing. Uh, Anything you look at testing, boundary testing, so the boundary testing is always good. And nowadays, the boundary testing, like custom security rules, you know the things happen anymore because then it's something really just not. And so the only thing is, there's that fine balance. A lot of people say, well, their app tests still do have the same test, right? But I've seen things like that in C sharp. Yeah, I'm writing in Python, and sometimes it's the way things are, right? But there who's good, right? Like I said, I'm going to start with the three of us, right? Two, and literally, the minute I find a bug, they're going to make it. And so it's very hard to never. So what happens is, by, let's say, you're on the road, usually you're running your test, you can go out, you do, run that thing, stuff. But so for best practices, doesn't matter what you have, right? The, the thing is finding out exactly all the business, right? That's what takes the long. Writing code to the test, just all the visits and all. Yeah, you can see, like, I started putting this together. And I think Katie wrote to me yesterday, I think 5 o'clock when I go, I started putting all this together. So that's the easy part, right? But the business rules is the crazy part, right? Because based on certain things, because you spend more time on data sets, right? Generating your data sets and all that, right? Because based on what happens in the back end, stuff changes in the front end. And that is what takes time, right? Given that traditional automation, sometimes people feel it's not feasible because their applications are very large. Like that or every budget is agreed. So that's practice for what you're and then
then secondly, is what have you experienced as a mentioned that people changing the UI? Is that because we're using XPath, or is that because we're using traditional, we're just using classes, selectors, and using those should have changed if you're moving around the UI?
Yeah, no. That was fine. The only reason I asked is first I don't know something. I'm taking a lot of time because I'm manually going through for each widget, right? Whatever the locator is, whatever it's described. Right? So that in the starter one is easy because right? This is what I'm going to be looking for. If you remember that, I'm not going to worry about class names and all this stuff.
The biggest issues run into UI is changing. Fundamentally changing.
UI is fundamentally changing, right? And because sometimes, I mean, we look at what, projects we're working on, something, but what? We don't necessarily put anywhere. And changes everything.
I use Selenium because always got problems with and running into multiple times consistently will pass. Another issue I think that's something that you run into. Usually if it works the next 100 times.
Oh yeah, I mean, what happens in the explicit world, right? You have to know, like every page is going to be different, and you can tweak the end time, right? I mean, you can say the big first with only 5 seconds, whatever, right? But yeah, tests should not be breaking because that's why you explicitly. In this way, it's just not good because we waste a lot of time thinking about on the and the big thing is running Android is so fast. So if you're running that way, at least you're going to be running for that. You're running for Android. If you run constantly Android, you're not going to run into the problems of the way. And the other question.
Large,
Yeah. So we're not going like this. That's right. The first thing I say is automate everything that's new. Everything that's coming off the pipe. And the first thing you want to do. And then start working back. Because if you start from here, it's like no one is doing it. Automation is so good. But you gotta start with everything there.
On the Selenium side, what's your thoughts on testing? So unit tests, try to have every test created right to the end. So, and in these, front-end testing can be tricky because some of the data needs months or years to create the system. We have, we've talked about different philosophies. It would be just an assumption that has certain data there. The problem with that is selectively the data that doesn't break. The other is trying to have a database that we restore for each step. And then the last one is trying to create that data, but that can be extremely difficult. What are your thoughts on those three options? And
There's no point. You can handle it, right? Because it just saves a lot of time. Unless you're having really crazy amounts of data changing in such a way, 9 out of 10 especially when you're transactions, it's pretty cut and dry. Right? But I would definitely use the scope mentality. Once you create a data set, like goes very far with that. You can do that in yourself or you run Pretty straightforward. Right? Yeah.
You can also kind of like a database.
Yeah.
Just restore the database. The challenge is if you don't set the date on your system, your image becomes 3 years old and your system's 3 years ahead, and then you look back, if they're relative,
There's a lot of little things that are impossible.
the basic setup, if you're going to use it for a week, it's great, but over time, it becomes tricky. Yeah. We had a system in script in Selenium, and the dating didn't have any calendar drop down. It only had a back a day, back a day, back a day. And a year later, the damn thing was pressing the back a day 370 times to get back to the right day to look for the date. And the tests were taking forever to run, and we just looked down like, oh my god, this is so simple. But, you know what I mean? It was a gaming problem. So.
How long did you all write unit tests? Since 90% of them are done. Okay. Now, to me, that's always interesting, right? Because it's like, I used to always say, if dev did that for us, you wouldn't need that much QA. I mean, I see that in the startup world, right? You have, unit tests, keep up with unit tests. Trust me, don't just say, well, okay, we'll do it. Right? Doesn't change everyone time. And that's it. It's a drop in line. I've worn many different hats, right? I've done dev, QA, 300, now it's like DevOps. Anyway, any more questions? I know I was all over the place. So. Yeah, okay, if you want me to work, if you got something or wait for, let me know. I can look at it. Eastern. You run it in headless mode, I guess. That's the first thing.
But this is a few years ago, and I had issues with links. It wouldn't work consistently. But when it was going to operations, that was working just have any other that's about this one we don't stress out, so we yeah.
Some projects, if we not then we use that in the development side, but it's sort of a challenge setting up automated functions because my security, like it has to run on the server, then it keeps the database, especially at times there's a lot of external stuff like forms and indexes and all that.
Any automation setup takes the longest. I look at the job you're doing right now, CGI, right? It's like, I've been there 2 months. You still don't have a perfect setup, right? But once you have that setup down, the rest is easy.
That's the key. And
some of the
Yeah, is there anyone else needs help setting any of this up? Or please let me know.